Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Project Ozone. So, you may have seen yesterday I released a tutorial video on keeping items in stock. So, I ended up changing up this. You'll notice the interfaces and stuff are gone. So if we pop down here, this is where I've got it all set up. So basically what we have is, instead of having the interfaces and the storage buses using up 2 channels for every 9 stacks of items, instead what we have is export buses. So in these export buses, the crafting behavior is set to do not use stocked items, only craft items while exporting. So that way it doesn't take items from the drawers that are already in there and keep cycling them back through and keep trying to fill itself up. So instead it's keeping these things stocked. So machine frames, I've got those in here. I've also got all the different circuits in here. And then from the filtered buffers, what happens is the items just get pumped out down a conduit line into the drawer controller. But anyways, it uses up a lot less channels. You know, I can keep, 9 different items per channel stocked. And I can keep infinite number of those items stocked. So right now what I've got is, over here, I've got a drawer for each of the chipsets. So 32 stacks of those. And the machine frames, I've just got those in a frame drawer 2x2. So at best, there's only gonna be like 8 stacks of the machine frames. Now I could drop that even more and have less, but honestly, I don't mind having a bunch of them on stock personally. But because I figure possibly once all these are done, I may remove that, because 8 stacks of all the machine frames should keep us filled up for quite a while. A decent while anyways. But anyways, this stuff is crafting, and I will say it uses up a fair few CPUs at the moment, but that's okay, because I pretty much annihilated our resources since last episode. Like, I'm talking, there's things I can't craft anymore because I'm just out of resources. I mean, a lot of the stuff like iron and stuff like that we have mystical crops of, it's hard to run all that down at the moment until we get into some of the Avarita stuff, the neutronium compressor and all that. But if we pop down here, a couple things. Oh, first up, actually, I'll take you upstairs. Oh, this was fun. I got all our crafting CPUs done. Honestly, the 64Ks really aren't too big of an issue to craft. And you can see that's what it looks like when all of them are filled. I think it looks really, really nice, actually. I also added a couple more of these interfaces and molecular assemblers. I also automated a ton of recipes. Like, we're talking a ton. Let me get in here. There we go. So if we take a look here at our interface terminal, you can see that we have just crazy amount of recipes in here now. Even things like solar panels, wind generators, a lot of the Mekanism stuff's automated, tanks, all the Mekanism conduits. I went ahead and automated the amplification crystals, the PRCs, all that stuff. And I don't know if we can craft one right now. I did craft a few. We're pretty much out of zinc at the moment. Yeah, we're still out of zinc. That won't be as big of an issue once we get our ore processing area set up. But right now we're out of zinc. But it can automatically create solar panels up to tier 6. I got 4 of those. I can't make any more. So we can at least automate a tier 7. Well, technically, I guess we could automate the tier 8. We could make a tier 7, automate the tier 8, and get us a step in the right direction. Up here, I started working on finishing out the roof. Basically spent forever doing the carpenter's blocks. Those actually take a while. Plus, all of these are iron blocks, so it was around 1,000 iron blocks, but we have nearly 10,000 iron blocks. So it's not a really big deal at this point. But that took a little while, changing out all of those. Also down here, I made a precision sawmill from Mekanism. And these things are actually super cheap. And I should have made it sooner, honestly. Steel casing, control circuit, enriched alloy, and some iron. It's very, very cheap. And I did make some upgrades for this. And basically what's happening is oakwood planks go in here, and they keep this drawer filled with sticks. Because when I was crafting all the solar panels, I ran out of sticks. And we didn't actually have sticks automated yet, because we had them coming in pretty heavily from the witch farm to suit our needs before. But now that we're crafting those solar panels en masse, we did need something there to keep sticks on hand, and that actually makes like six sticks per craft. Where if you just craft 2 pieces of wood together, you only get 2 sticks in this pack. You only get 2 sticks, and that's 6 sticks for 1 piece of wood. So, also in here, I ripped up a lot of this stuff and whatnot. I also automated deep storage units and deep storage labels in case we want to use those. And I've got a few quests here that are ready to be turned in. First up, Delta, the Tormented Heads quest. I actually finished that out. I was automating a few of these. So we'll go ahead and grab our reward bag for that. And then I need to go through and actually finish out this section because there's really not a whole lot here other than this. That's about the only semi-expensive thing in here. In Zeta, we got the deep storage quest completed. We got the Mangaloy. This stuff is just steel around slag. There was not much to it. And then the amplification crystal. This is 3 of those PRCLXs, 100s, and then a ruby gets you 2 of those. And that's just red alloy, plastic sheets, and mercury. So let's see what we got in our reward bags. We have 4 muffling upgrades, and I forgot to check the rarity on that. But then we have a basic reward bag with a Zanite ring. Awesome. Also, not down here. I meant to go up here. I made more ultimate furnaces. So those are in place. I did have to get at least 1 more because we were out of recipe slots. But you can see I automated silicon, and I got the whole process of making that and everything automated. I basically just spent a very good long while going through and figuring out what all I could automate that we could possibly need in the near future or even distant future. So anyways, the goal for today is to finish up a bit of this AE2 changeover stuff. I need Mekanism plugged up, I noticed. Like, I didn't have that plugged up, and I was like, no, I need that. And Pneumaticcraft, we want to get that plugged up, right? And I think the main thing is we need our alloy smelters plugged up, we need our item input plugged up, our Pneumaticcraft plugged up, and Mekanism plugged up. So basically, kind of these 4 room sections. But let's go ahead and start, I guess, with our alloy smelter and just go ahead and knock that out. So we'll go ahead and grab ourselves a few interfaces, and then I'm also going to want some cable. I believe over there I'm using black cable. Oh, and actually one thing we're going to do right after this, okay, before we get into the other stuff, just really quickly, is I want to get wireless stuff in place. And we should be fine just going ahead and breaking those down to the flat interfaces, and we'll just plug these up along the back of the alloy smelters. We're going to say, that's alloys. You can push out the back, and then you can push out the back. So we'll go ahead and encode that. And what we're going to do for all of our alloys is whenever we go to encode this, actually going to throw all this stuff into here, we're actually going to encode it 5 times. Okay? Though we'll say, like, Vibrantium, not a whole lot of reason to automate it 5 times. I don't foresee us ordering huge bulk quantities of Vibrantium, but maybe. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw this Vibrantium recipe in all these alloy smelters. Now, honestly, I may eventually cut this down and only have like 3 or something. I'm going to give it some time and kind of gauge how many of these I actually need. But the majority of our primary alloys, energetic alloy, vibrant alloy, steels, all that stuff, we are creating from magical crops, and there's very minimal recipes that actually need the alloy smelter. Vibrantium being one, I think. There's some other, like, odd and end. There's, like, maybe 2 or 3 that I can think of, or that I recall using, but there's really not a whole lot of alloys that we need. So, once I figure out what those other alloys are, I'll see how many I need, and then we may actually cut down the number of alloy smelters. Because stuff like Vibrantium, let me actually check. How many of those do I need for whatever? That's just the Philosopher's Stone. Oh no, here we go. There's a ring with an absolute ton of Vibrantium. That. Okay. Alright, so there's a few things that use Vibrantium, but, well, no, because that's not... Oh, there's 1 piece there in the middle. See, I mean, it's very minimal usage, from what I can tell. And Vibrantium blocks... that makes that catalyst. So we will actually probably use a few, because these we'll be using a lot of these catalysts. So, but anyways, now if I can't test it, but if I ordered that, say I ordered like 5 or 6 vibrantium or something, what it's going to do is it's going to balance that across the 5 alloy smelters, so that each of those receive equal components and whatnot. I do need to plug power up to these, right? So anyways, that's done. We're going to go ahead and move on. Alloy smelters, we really don't use them that often. Like, not very often at all. The next thing that I want to get in place, that we need it, is I want to get wireless terminal. So there's actually a quest in here. Okay, you know what I just realized? We have never manually crafted a 64K. I've just always had it automated in here. Well, I got one ordered. Once that comes in, we'll manually craft it. There we go. There's our 64K, and we'll go ahead and craft this. I have no actual use for this at this moment, but it's an easy enough quest. And we got an epic reward bag. Let's see what we got. Woo! Good stuff. This stuff's about useless. Okay. So, anyways, there's a quest here, going wireless. We need the Infinity Booster card. We've actually already got that. That drops from the Wither, right? We're also going to need a security terminal, a wireless access point, and a wireless crafting terminal. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our security terminal first. ME chest, that takes personal chest. And then for the ME chest, there's that stuff. I did already prep terminals and all that good stuff. So we've got that. And then the security terminal requires a 16K. That's fine. So let me order one of those. I will say this wireless stuff is actually, it's not terrible, but it's fairly expensive. You know, probably some of the most expensive applied energistics based stuff that we've got. So there's our security terminal. Let's go ahead and grab our booster card. No, I want the Infinity Booster. We've got 4 of those. And then for the wireless terminal, or access point, I mean, the wireless receiver, there's that, and then the, should be everything that we need for that. And then now we just need the wireless crafting terminal. This requires a couple of these wireless connectors, which require wireless chargers, so I'm going to have to get those. Let's see, wireless modem, Ender Overseers. I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and just automate some of this stuff. Alright, we should be all set for this. Wireless chargers. Okay, so it's, I'm going to need more electrical steel. Whoops. That. Okay. And let me grab 4 more pieces of electrical steel. And then, honestly, the hardest part, I think, is it's roughly out of the way, I guess. This wireless crafting terminal is actually fairly expensive, as I'm sure you can tell, but once we get it, it's going to be a little bit OP, I have to say. It's pretty nice. Alright, so there's our wireless charger, and then what else do we need for this? Oh yeah, we're going to need these storage components. That's right, that's why I was waiting on it. Because we're going to have to get glowstonic steel, or glowstone ingots. I'll tell you what though, while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and order like 30 64K storage units. That's what I'm talking about. We just ordered massive quantities of everything. Okay, so yeah, we need to get the Mekanism and Pneumaticcraft stuff automated next up, I think. So what we're going to do is, I want to say I have a cable. Yeah, I have a cable line right there that connects over a dense line. So let's pop down here and figure out what we're going to need to do to get this Pneumaticcraft room plugged up to this. Right here, we've got all this stuff. And each of these have set recipes. This has transistor, capacitor, empty PCB. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is let's go grab ourselves an interface. Most of the stuff is the setup is still pretty much the same, right? We don't have to worry too much about that, but that, of course, just the execution is a little bit different. So we'll get 3 of these interfaces. And then I'm going to want some conduits. We'll go ahead and grab 100. Well, I haven't taught it how to make... I'll tell you what, this stuff's going to go into a compacting drawer, hopefully by the end of the episode, so I'm just going to craft a bunch of that, so that we've got it. Alright, so my item conduits, we're going to want 100 of those. So we'll just use the red cable line. We'll probably use that for the mechanism area as well, I imagine. So, because we don't really seem to be using it for too much else. So I'll get a bit of this dense red. Let me go ahead and get like 20 more of those. And then I'm also going to want red smart cable. So we'll just have our dense cable come out. Basically, I just want to bring it up right here. Right here's fine. And I'm going to leave it... Yeah, I guess we'll have it come up to about right here. Actually, I'm going to move it over here. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put our interfaces onto these open crates. So we'll go pow. No, it's not an interface. Just go pow, pow, pow. And then we'll go ahead and rotate these. We'll say, there you go, there you go, there you go. So basically they're just feeding straight into the open crate, and of course the open crate then just drops the stuff down. And I'm just going to bring this dense line up. The dense shouldn't connect to the interface. I mean, it's connecting into the interface, but it shouldn't be sending any channels or anything like that. So all we can do is then we can just plug up our interface here. There's 3 of 32. Okay. That's good. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now we need to set up an actual recipe. And one other thing that we're going to do here is these chests right here. We're just going to bring a conduit line. We'll have it come... Let's see. What is that? Okay. This cobblestone can go. And basically, we're just going to have our conduit line come up. Don't want it to connect there. I just want it to feed back into one of these interfaces. Okay. Then we'll just bring this on back. We'll say on each of these chests, we're just going to tell it to extract is always active. And there we go. Now we just have to set up the recipes and get those to, you know, basically corresponding to the correct chests. So what all do we have here? Okay, this one is the transistor, the capacitor, and the empty PCB. And then this one over here is compressed iron and steel casing. Okay, so let's go set up those recipes and get those into the corresponding interfaces, and then it's done, you know. Not too big of a change. Alright, so first up we've got if iron goes in, then it's going to make compressed iron. So we'll go ahead and snag that. This is actually going to take a second. So let me get these recipes set up. It's basically, you know, it's the same thing that we've done before. We're just going to tell it that if it takes those items, then it gets whatever, you know. Alright, so these translocation plates... Okay, it goes backwards. Like, this one is the farthest one away. Alright, so this closest one is the one that does compressed steel, or compressed iron, and steel casings. And then this one in the middle is the one that takes the empty PCBs, the capacitor, and the transistor. And I don't believe... Let me double check. I don't think there's actually anything in this one just yet. No. No. Okay. Just wanted to make sure real quick. Alright, so that's done. We should be able to order, for example, let's go order ourselves like a transistor or something. And... or a steel casing, that will work. So order 10 of those, and we should see the items come through for... Okay, so it is working. Is it crafting something? I feel like it should be faster than this, but it may just be the speed at which it's dropping things. But it is working, okay? Okay, yeah, it's the interface, the speed at which it's dropping things, I think. Okay, so let me throw this stuff back into here. I had to actually craft a multimeter, but Alright, so now for the mechanism stuff. So I've got this cable that kind of comes up here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of bring this up. And basically what I want to do is let's just remove some of this stuff. And we'll have our dense cable come along. Because of course this right here is manual crafting. And then back over here is automated crafting. And then I think right here we'll break away. We'll come along through there. And let's see, right now we've got the crusher, the metallurgic infusers, and I think these all correspond, yeah. So there's obsidian, there's redstone, there's diamond. Of course there is carbon, but if I recall correctly, carbon we don't actually need to really do anything with that in this pack. So let's make a few quick recipes here. Okay, and that's most everything that comes to mind. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some things, but we'll get those sorted as we go. I've got to get the diamond dust and the glowstone ingots. So let's get ourselves like 5 interfaces. So let's go ahead, get this stuff set up. And I've got, I've got item conduits on me. Cool. Alright, so this osmium compressor, do I want to leave it here? And maybe the manual crafting starts here? Because really there's not going to be that much manual crafting, so I think that would be okay. So what we'll do is we'll put an interface down right here. Let's go ahead and configure this so that it feeds into the back of this osmium compressor. We'll just put smart cable right there, attach it to the interface. We're going to tell this interface to keep like a stack of glowstone on hand at all times. I mean, not a stack of glowstone. A stack of osmium. Alright, and then looks like that's okay, that's already got glowstone ingots in there. But what we're going to do is the side config, we're going to say that the back is input. And then let's see. Because the osmium compressor is also going to need to input the stuff. We'll say the bottom is extra. That's basically where the osmium has to come in at. And then what we'll do is we'll have just a couple item conduits that connect. Pop down here. So you're going to extract, you're going to insert, and you can see the osmium's filling that up. Okay. And we'll go ahead and throw this osmium into there. And then the output is going to be on the left side here. I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Output's on the left side. And then we'll just have, item conduit come out of there. So you can pull out, and then it's going to basically just run back to the interface. And we'll say you can insert. Okay, so now if I was to throw in our recipe, actually I have to go make the recipe real quick for glowstone ingots. So that gets you 1 glowstone ingot. We'll go ahead and encode that. We'll throw it. There should be a interface. There it is. Osmium compressor. We'll throw that in there. And then if we were to order ourselves glowstone ingots, let's order 100 of these. And there we go. That's running. Now, for stuff that's automated in here, I will say that our ore processing facility, I'm probably going to not muffle the machines because personally I like them and we're not going to spend a lot of time in there. But for those machines that are in this section, we're going to go ahead and grab muffler upgrades, I guess. Let me go ahead and grab all of these. And we'll just throw one of these in the upgrade section. Now, I still need to make upgrades for this osmium compressor. Maybe all 4 of them. Okay, yeah, that works. So this thing is totally quiet now. But anyways, it's making glowstone ingots, and those are getting pumped into the system. Now, next up for these 4, I'm just going to go ahead and throw interfaces onto the back of all of these. And then we'll come around, we'll get these things sorted. Let's do that. I think they're all facing, yep, they are. Okay, so all of these are facing their machines. This crusher, let me go ahead and do the recipe real quick for the diamond dust. And let me get that encoded real quick. Alright, so the crusher is going to get the diamond dust recipe, let's see, this is the diamond-based metallurgic infuser. That one's going to get the reinforced alloy as well as... Why do I have a recipe here for elite? I meant to get regular control circuits. My bad. Refined obsidian dust. That is with diamond, right? I have a terrible memory. Yes, it is. Okay. Then the redstone-based one is going to have the enriched alloy and the actual control circuit when I fix that. And this one, the obsidian one, is going to have the atomic alloy. And let me go ahead and fix this this recipe real quick because it's going to drive me insane if I don't. There we go. Also, I will say that I've already got all the control circuits automated. You know, past the first one. I went ahead and set up recipes for all of those, but we just got to get it... we just have to get everything put in the correct spots. Okay, so that's all got power. It's got items coming in. We're going to go ahead and tell it... Let's see, the back is going to be input, and then we'll say we'll say the top is output. Okay, and then this one, I also need to... Oh yeah, I'm going to need to feed this. Let me get a couple things here. Okay, so we're going to tell this to keep, like, I don't know, a stack of diamond dust in here. And we're going to give it a crafting card so that it can craft those things. This one, keep a stack of redstone. Now, I will say this is actually probably going to change, maybe even this episode, because we're about to get into a bit more Mekanism stuff, I think. So there's that. I don't really need a crafting card for that one. And then this one, actually, I'm going to go ahead and put a crafting card in this, because once we get the enrichment chamber, which we're about to do, we will want to actually have stuff crafting for that. And then this last one, we're just going to say keep refined obsidian dust in there. But we're about to make this. Once we get the enrichment chamber and get that set up to auto-craft, this is going to be a lot more efficient. So, okay. So that's all set up. The crusher is pretty much side config, up as output. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to have this feedback into the interface. We're going to say that, oops. We're going to say that you can insert, you can extract, and that's done. Okay, the metallurgic infuser, this one we're just going to say that, once again, the top is, let's see, the back is input, the left side is going to be infuse, and the top is going to be output, and then we can just throw a conduit onto that, and always active. And then we're gonna just basically add a conduit line here that inputs, we'll say extract. There we go, that's done. Right here, I'm gonna want to, let's see, grab my wrench. I'm gonna want to break these cable lines off, and then this we're gonna say that you can extract, you can insert, side config. Bottom is going to be output, left side's going to be infuse, back is going to be input. Okay, and then lastly over here, basically just going to do that. We're going to say that you can extract, you can insert, and then I'm actually going to change this colored line. We're going to say that this is going to be the blue channel for the output and input. We're going to add conduits on the bottom here. We're going to say that this metallurgic infuser, the bottom is going to be output, the back is going to be input, and the right hand side is going to be infused. So that's perfect. And then all we have to do is set this conduit to extract, and then just connect this conduit line up to there. Okay, so those are done. I mean, that's really it. And now we should be all set. Let me order something, for example. If we were to order... Let's order some enriched alloy. Oh, you know what? It's not all set up. I forgot to actually finish plugging up the cables. Let me go with some smart cable. And all we got to do is then just run this over one more, and now all those are plugged up. So we should see it get the channels. There we go, 4 of 8. And now that's all done. Mechanism thus far is all automated. So if we come over here and we ordered, say, some enriched alloy, let's order like 5 of those. Yeah, they should be just about to start coming in, I should imagine. It's probably making transistors, actually. Oh, and I forgot to set that to extract always active. I was like, wait, my enriched alloys aren't coming in. What did I do wrong here? Okay. But yeah, you can see, I mean, it's making all that refined obsidian and all that stuff, filling out these buffers, basically. And then it's going to fill up these interfaces as well. So, alright, now I'm going to go ahead and order some upgrades. I'm going to get, let's see, 8 energy upgrades. And then we're going to get, we'll get like 4 speed upgrades. Basically, I just want to speed up our compressor, our osmium compressor, because this is a little bit slower than what I want. Especially for what we're about to have to do, it's going to be too slow. And then we'll throw some speed upgrades into this, and that should fix our glowstone ingot problem. Okay, so now for the fun part. We got to finish working on getting our wireless terminal, and then we'll probably get into just a little bit more mechanism. So for the wireless terminal, we're going to have to actually get these top tier storage components, okay? So let's go ahead and automate the process of making all these other tiers. Very, very simple. We just have to make some quick crafting recipes. There's that, and then let's teach it 124, and then our 1638.4, and there's that. Okay, so that whole process is automated now. Fun times. And we'll go ahead and order, I think it was 2 of those that we needed. Let's see, how much? 14,000 Certus quartz for that? It's so expensive. Oh, you know what? We don't have enough crafting bytes in any of our stuff to do that. So, you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to get ourselves a little bit bigger crafting storage. Let's go with, we'll order like 10 of these. I wish they had done some crafting storage that was a bit larger. That would be really, really nice. Like with the extra cells stuff, like have some kind of crafting storage that was, I don't know, like the you know, the top tier storage component. That would have been great. But what I can do is, it's not really a big issue. I can just bring this out. I will say that I'm probably going to end up adding more crafting CPUs because we've got a fair few, but right now it's making all those different chipsets. I'm probably going to leave this running like overnight or something, and it should fix a lot of the issue. But we'll see. We'll see if adding 4 more crafting storages will allow us to order. I mean, I guess technically I could just order 1 of those at a time, but I'd rather have it so that I can order like 2. Okay, so we got 1 ordered, and then I'll order the other one. I mean, honestly, I don't foresee myself needing storage that large, since we're going to be using deep storage. I don't know that it's going to be something that I use all the time or anything like that. But let's go ahead, turn our attention back to our wireless crafting stuff. Oh yeah, we're going to need 2 wireless access points, technically. Okay, so there's our other wireless access point. And then, let's see, I've already got the crafting terminal. The wireless connectors. Oh, we're going to need wireless access points for these too. Okay, I think it's 2 wireless receivers, 2 wireless access points. There's that. And then I think we're all set to get our wireless connectors now. And then our wireless crafting grid unit thing. Okay, we're waiting on the big super storage drives. Yeah, it's crafting that stuff at the moment, but it takes a little while to craft all of that stuff. It takes like 10,000 of so many things, like 10,000 plus. Okay, so while we're waiting on those to get finished up, I think we've got pretty much everything. Then we just need that. Okay, cool. And honestly, I'll probably end up making all of these later on just so that we have them, maybe. I have a feeling we're probably going to annihilate Oh, never mind. I have 369,000 Electro-Team. Okay, so anyways, moving on. While we're waiting for that stuff to craft, the Mekanism stuff, right? Let me find it here. I think it's Epsilon. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I need to automate Demon Steel as well. But the enrichment chamber, this is what we've been waiting on. We're going to need printed circuit boards. We're going to need advanced circuits. This is quantum flux. We're going to go ahead and start getting into that model a little bit today, because I want to get the enrichment chamber, and then once we get that and all this quantum flux stuff set up, then we can start moving into ore ×5 processing next episode, I figure. But before I do that, let me go ahead and automate Demon Steel. This is Temperio Essence with the Diamond Dust. There we go. We'll encode that. I will say my FPS is kind of dropping off. Once I leave this thing running and the lasers and stuff and all this stuff stops running, we should be okay. It's just, it's part of it. It's part of the fun. Yeah, see, it's funny because the item fabricator quest is way down here, but you have to do item fabrication before you get the item fabricator quest. I think it's a little bit wrong. So I think it's out of order just a tad bit, but item fabricator is what we're going for. So let's go ahead and craft this up. Now this thing takes dark stone. That's just stone and any kind of black ink. It's not really a big issue. So we'll go ahead and get a bit of that. And then the amplification crystals, we've already got those. Those are simple. Iron casings, also very, very simple to make. Honestly, since we're kind of automating as we go, let me go ahead and get that recipe for darkstone. Oops. I need to keep that in mind and keep automating things as we go, so that eventually, if we need anything, our system will know how to make it. So now we should be able to get our item fabricator. I'm probably not going to automate this particularly. Well, I guess I just did. Never mind. I don't know if I need that. Well, technically there's a chest thing there that we can use. So we'll go ahead and throw that in there, whatever. Alright, so item fabricator is automated, but we have one. And that's the most important thing. So if we set this down real quick, you can see this is the GUI, this is where energy's at, and all that good stuff. And I tell you what, like, this wall is going to get removed, of course, because we don't have the laser set up in here anymore. I've got to sort, right after this episode, that's what I'm going to be doing, is sorting this room out. Like, actually a few rooms, but starting with this room, because we have a lot of places where cables are just kind of like cutting through the floor and stuff. I want to go through and clean up a bit of that. I want to work on lighting, because the lighting in this base is terrible at the moment. And I want to clean this room up, because we just changed over from having the lasers and stuff in here. But I think we're going to set up our item fabricator within this room here. So we'll just plug it up right there. It's getting power, and we're going to go ahead and automate the item fabricator. So for this stuff, for the enrichment chamber, we are going to need advanced circuits. Advanced circuits require blank circuits. That's paper and silica. Silica is blocks of quartz and sand. So that's going to be a good starting point. Let's go ahead. So block of quartz and sand. Let's go ahead and throw this through the item fabricator real quick and get a recipe. And what we're going to do is the interface. Let's see. Well, I'll grab an interface in just a second. So anyways, that's going to start running. I will say item fabrication is not the fastest thing in the world. I may eventually add additional item fabricators, depending on if we need it. I'm not for sure if we're going to need it, you know. At the moment, I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. But for right now, this speed will be okay for getting us started. So there's a recipe for silica. And then if we take, I believe it's silica and paper, right? That's really the only recipe, is silica and paper makes blank circuits. See, blank circuits make quantum disks, and advanced circuits, storehouses, harmonic oscillators, enrichment chambers, imaginary time blocks. See, it doesn't seem like there's a ton that we're going to need the item fabrication for, but I'm not for sure. Not 100% sure. So, paper and silica. There's our blank circuit. The mystic quartz, that is nether quartz and titanium. Okay. So nether quartz and titanium go together. They get mystic quartz. And I feel like getting this stuff automated like right out the gate. The main reason I'm even worried about automating this stuff, because from what I've seen, the main thing we're going to be making with this, don't quote me on this, but seems to be enrichment chambers. But the thing is, we actually use a fair few enrichment chambers, right, for Mekanism, especially the stuff that we're about to start getting into, the factories and things like that. We're going to need a lot of enrichment chambers. Now we just need the blank circuit. So that plus mystic quartz, and that's how we're going to get our advanced circuits. But we're going to need to get our interface set up now since that last one is running. Let's get ourselves an interface, and then let me get some cables. I think we're going to go with, I don't believe we've used yellow, have we? So let me get like 10 dense yellow, and then I'll get maybe 10 smart yellow. And let's see, is our storage... Yep, we have our very first 16,000 yada yada storage drive. So we'll go ahead and order another one of those and get that crafting up. So then we'll just plug up our P2P right here. We'll connect it into a dense yellow line. It's going to come out. And I believe we're just going to have our energy conduits come through the wall here instead. And all these, I believe all of these can be removed. Yeah. Because that stuff that's back in here it's going to be changed over. That's one of the things I'm going to get to after this episode. You know, when it comes to cleaning up this area. Because this stuff, not the fluid transposer, but like right here, these energizer capsules and stuff, I'm just going to run that through the enrichment chamber that's over there. So that's going to be fine. And we'll just set our interface up right here, and we'll go ahead and rotate it into the item fabricator. And then all we need to do is just pump the items out whenever they're done. So we're going to have conduits come out like that and insert into this. Alright, so now we should be able to order this. We'll go ahead and say, there we go, advanced circuit. And if we pop over here, we should see it crafting. There we go. I believe it just made, actually it just made a blank circuit, didn't it? It may also be side specific, I don't know. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done anything with quantum flux. So we're gonna try checking the sides. It's gonna be a mess. I'll clean this up in a bit. Just trying to figure out how we want to do this. Okay, the bottom does work. Okay, so it is side specific. Which that's fine. It's not a problem. Alright, so let's try this again then with it actually running a bit better. The paper and the silica's going together. There we go. And then here's our mystic quartz. And then lastly, our advanced circuit. Pow. Okay, good. That works perfect. I'm happy. Alright. So, the next thing I want to do then is let's go ahead, automate the enrichment chamber. So, I am going to want some PCBs. Okay, I'm terrible. I messed up all the recipes for Pneumaticcraft. That's one reason it was probably messing up. We need compressed iron. Okay, so basically what happened was I did steel instead of compressed iron. Whoops. I was like, I was sitting there thinking like, no, this stuff's working. What's going on? Because I tried to order capacitors, and yeah. That was a little bit of a fail on my part. Alright, so the printed circuit board, at long last, there's our recipe for that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab one of those. Now the enrichment chamber, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and encode that, and I'm going to grab one. Maybe? Oh no, I'm going to need another printed circuit board, aren't I? I never taught it how to make this. The PCB that we need. Whoops. Okay, yeah, we're going to need an interface. Like 2 interfaces. I'm going to have to... Oh yeah, I totally forgot about the whole, like, laser platform and all of that. Okay, so for this, all we need to do is set up an interface below this chest. and we'll say, you can insert to the top, and then this chest here that's actually going to receive the PCB, then it's just going to pump back into the interface. I'm going to go ahead and grab that unassembled PCB just so I've got it to set up the actual recipe. And that's really all there is to that. I will have to set up the ones for like the pressure tubes and stuff like that. I'll do that off camera. It's not a big issue. We'll go ahead and throw that into there. And then as far as connecting this up. Okay, so that interface is now plugged up. We can make PCBs. And now we should be able to create enrichment chambers. Alright. I'm going to manually craft the first one. I love the fact that the crafting terminal, though, does work for this. So we're going to need one more printed circuit board. That's not a problem. All my stuff seems to be working correctly now. There we go. And there's our very first enrichment chamber. So we'll go ahead and turn that quest in. Alright, so there is a good reward bag. We got a bunch of soap. Okay, now next up, I believe our wireless crafting terminal should be craftable. It is. There we go. Achievement, digital crafting over Wi-Fi. And that quest from Ada is now done. We'll go ahead and take a reward bag for that. It is an epic quality with a diamond wand. I'll tell you what, this line right here, 2 of 28. Basically, we're just going to plug into this this right here, because this will be underneath the roof. And honestly, the security terminal, once it's set up, I don't need it. I don't need to touch it. I don't need to do anything with it, right? So we're just going to put our security terminal right here, and that's all linked up now. Then we're just going to plug in our wireless crafting terminal. There we go. And then for our wireless access point, we're just going to put this right here is fine, like right there. And then inside of that, we're going to put our infinity booster. Does it not go into there? Or does it go into this? I can't recall. Yeah, it goes into this right here. So the infinity booster, now we can access this anywhere we go, regardless of anywhere we go, any dimension or anything like that. We have access to it. We can also craft from this. Alrighty, welcome back. It's actually been a little while since I cut. I went ahead and I wanted to edit down the footage, see where the time was on the video and all that, and then also left it running for a bit while I was AFK. So basically, machine frames have really, we've got quite a few of those built up now. Also, I went ahead and did a little bit of automating. Since the last cut, I went ahead and made compacting drawers, compactors, all that stuff, as well as demon steel all the way up to magnitude 7. I haven't crafted any magnitude 7, but I do have it automated up to magnitude 7 now. And we've got a few quests here for the different tiers of demon steel. I'm making sure I'm manually crafting them once, basically before I move forward. So we've got a few reward bags here. We'll go ahead and grab these. And these are 3 greater bags. We got void pipes, tier 3 chance pendants, and a whetstone and a rolled up newspaper. Okay. Alright, but I did notice the time on the video, we're getting fairly close to wrapping up point. Since we got the wireless crafting terminal, though, I did go ahead and throw our ender pouch back, because we don't really need that anymore, right? Because we can throw everything through this wireless terminal. Now this slot here is for a magnet card. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned that. This thing, I did take a look at this. We're not going to be able to craft it just yet. Well, technically I guess we could, but honestly I don't really have that much use for it. It is useful, but it does require 2 demon steel tier 7s. Thorium rods aren't a problem. Most of the stuff isn't too bad. It's just the demon steel 2 tier 7s is a little bit on the expensive side, because I used up a few hundred Temperio essence. I will say demon steel, I'm not that worried about it, because it's not that expensive to make, and you don't use it for very much at all. So moving forward, I'm not too concerned about it with it. But I'm going to hold off on the magnet card, because there's more important stuff coming up that we're going to use demon steel for, so I'm not as worried about that. Anyways, for the rest of the episode, I was wanting to get this done today. But I think we're going to wait till next episode on that. I know I keep saying that, but basically, you know, all this section here has to be torn out once we get ore times 5, but only once we get ore times 5. So I think we'll wait until we get ore times 5, and then we'll redo this. So next episode, because we don't have that much left to get ore times 5 in place. And what I actually want to do this episode is I want to get our actual storage, kind of go over that with you guys, how we're going to set that up. That way I can start working on this. My goal is by next episode to clean up this room a bit and start kind of going through the base and cleaning stuff up. Because we have a lot of places where the floor is missing and just it's a big mess right now, especially after the conversion. But I want to get deep storage in place and start getting a bit of this cleaned up. Because this stuff, this whole room is going to have to get redone. Because just the amount of stuff that we're going to need for some of this later crafting, we need to start thinking about that. Deep storage is going to be the way to go. Now, I am going to use a combination of deep storage and compacting drawers for a lot of the stuff, especially metals and things like that, because I can cut down on recipes and crafting time by having that stuff on hand, right? The blocks and everything. So let's go ahead and get ourselves 100 deep storage boxes. We'll go ahead and start that up. There's still a little bit of lag because I know it's crafting chipsets right now, so you know that's something that's going on. But all right, let's see. It's kicking through this stuff. It'll take out a minute to get all these crafted. I don't know for sure if I want to do labels or not. Also, compacting drawers. We're gonna want a few of these, so let's order. We'll start with 30 compacting drawers. Okay, I'll tell you what. While we're waiting on those deep storage units and stuff to get crafted, and I actually noticed here the Temperio is kind of struggling because it's trying to make all that diamond dust and it's really not that efficient. We're going to go ahead and just really quickly set up the enrichment chamber. And so what we're going to do is let's get, there's a couple things I'm going to want here. First up, I'm going to want a piece of redstone. And then I'm going to want an interface. And that's honestly the main things. I will probably, I tell you what, let me get speed and energy upgrades. And I got to get used to having this wireless crafting terminal. I could have just ordered that stuff, no problem. But I think we're going to set this up. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Let me remove this. We are going to break that. I'm going to change this to, we'll say, brown line, and I'm just going to break off all these cables. There we go. And then what we're going to do is over here on the insert, we're going to say insert extract. You can insert on brown, and then we'll just link this up with item conduit. And that way I can put an interface on the back of this. And we'll go ahead and rotate it forwards. We'll set our enrichment chamber down right there. And then we'll throw in our upgrades. And now we just need to set up a couple quick recipes. I'm going to grab, give me that diamond dust. There we go. Got a piece of diamond dust, and then I'm also going to want one piece of this refined obsidian. And then we just have to set up a couple quick recipes. So let me, tell you what, let me get like one more of each of these. And basically what we're going to do is if we throw redstone into this, we'll give it just a second. I did throw some speed upgrades, so it should get a little bit quicker. But alright, so there's compressed redstone. The diamond got pulled out, I think. Oh wait, is it diamond that makes compressed diamond? Yes. Okay, my bad. Alright. Okay, it looks like we just completed some quests. Is there quests for that? I didn't realize, actually. Yes, there's quests for all the different enriched stuff. So there's compressed redstone, compressed diamond, whoops, and compressed obsidian. Pressurized reaction chamber. The osmium compressor we've already done. Oh, but you know what? I think it was in the logistics table. That's fine. That is okay. Alright, but anyways, let's set up a couple quick recipes here. We're going to say that if you take, let's see, redstone, you'll get compressed redstone and coat that. If you take refined obsidian, then you're going to get compressed obsidian And then if you take a diamond, then you're going to get compressed diamond. And we'll encode all of that. Alright, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to want my compressed stuff back, actually. Just to set up some interfaces and stuff. Okay, so for setting this up, I should have... Yeah, I've got some item conduits on me, that should be fine. So we're going to say, on this, we're going to say side config, and clear it out here. We're going to say that the back is input, the left side is going to be output. And that's all you have to set for these. We'll say that you pull out on brown, auto extract, and that's pretty much it. That's set up. So we can throw our recipes into here. And then what we're going to do is all of this, we're going to convert it over. So this one takes refined obsidian dust. Well, now it's going to take compressed obsidian. Because the reason we're doing this is the refined obsidian dust gives you, I think it's 100, you know, there's that quantity number right here. So we have 1,000 obsidian, but refined obsidian dust would only give us 10 of this count, right? Whereas the compressed obsidian would give us, I believe it's 100. It's like, or maybe it's 80. And then we'll change this one over. This is the one that takes the diamond dust. We're going to say, no longer you take compressed diamond. And like right here, you can see that diamonds are only giving like 10, I think. Yeah, it's only 10. But if you throw this compressed obsidian in there, it gives us 80. It's a lot better. And it's actually no more expensive on resources. I don't know why it is still pumping that stuff in. Okay, there we go. Now it's making compressed diamond. This one for the obsidian, it's taking it a little bit to update, I think, but the diamond one didn't automatically update, so. But we should say, yeah, see, this is building up way faster doing the compressed diamond. Way faster. And it's really not going to take it long to build up the stockpile that we need of that compressed diamond. The same with the compressed obsidian. It's not going to take it all that long to build that up. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. And there we go. It gets pumped into here. And then this one, basically we're just going to change it over. We want compressed redstone. Very, very simple. And it just saves us a lot on resources. You know, the blocks of redstone, I think, gave us 9 for 9 pieces of redstone. But it's just a whole lot better output using this compressed redstone. So, that's what we wanted the enrichment chamber for this whole time. And we got a greater reward bag with rods in it. Honestly, to the point I don't really worry too much about what I'm going to get, because it's usually not anything that I'm going to actually use. Alright, but let's go take a look and see if our stuff is done over here. Okay, I'll tell you what, I've done some thinking, and what I originally wanted to do, which was very, like, concise and clean and everything, it's actually not going to work due to the fact that export buses, I always forget that they can't accept inverter cards. For some reason, I always think that they can, and I guess it's always, like, wishful thinking that it's been changed where they can accept inverter cards. But I was going to have the exporters inverted to be a blacklist, right, and just throw something in there that we're not going to get, like, for example, I don't know, maybe memory cards or something like that, and just have the deep storage fill compacting drawers and keep those filled, and then any excess, you know, be stored away within the compacting drawer. But what I want to do there is not going to work, because I would have to set filters for exporters, and so it really wouldn't work out how I wanted it to. Now, there's ways that I can do it. I could just plug item conduits into all of these and then have them pump into the controller slave, but then you're talking about a ton of additional item conduits and stuff like that. So I think what we're going to do instead is just, probably not even going to worry about the compacting drawer itself, because realistically it's minimal usage. It would be for things like pulsating nuggets, you know, to get item conduits or something like that. And honestly, I could more easily set up just a recipe for that and just say, like, here's how you craft pulsating nuggets, instead of adding a ton of extra cableage and compacting drawers and all that just to allow us to make some nuggets on occasion. So I think what I'm going to do then is I'm just going to use the deep storage. I'm going to super store and drive it. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to super store and drive all these deep storage units. I may actually lose the drawers, or a large amount of the drawers, probably all the drawers, if I do it and replace them instead with deep storage units and just have everything plugged up. Super store and drive through here. I don't know. I've got to give that some thought. I mean, I know it's about wrapping up point, so I don't have time to do a whole lot with that. But realistically, these storage drawers, even fully upgraded, they don't store enough to make it actually to make it logical within this pack. And the reason being is things like, before long, we're going to be looking at doing singularities and stuff like that. So for example, redstone, I need 51,426 blocks of redstone to make a singularity. So I need more storage. I think at best these store about enough to make one singularity in a compacting drawer. So I mean, realistically, I need more storage. Right now we're trashing a lot of the stuff that's coming in, and so I want to upgrade to deep storage since these can store about 2 billion items. And we're at the point now where I can, I just ordered 100 of these things. I can mass produce these things, no problem. So I'm not for sure. I don't know if I want to just leave the storage drawer system for the looks aspect, because I do like the way these drawers look. Deep storage actually doesn't look too bad. So if I don't know. I might leave this, or I might remove it. I've got to do some pondering on that. So we'll figure it out by next episode and whatnot. I may start getting everything moved. We'll see. So, but anyways, I do believe it's about wrapping up point. We've pretty much finished out converting over the AE network, getting all of our auto crafting in. Still have to plug up the item input and the storage. I don't even know what I'm going to do yet with that. But next episode, we will be working on ore quintupling. I can promise you that. So the plan is ore quintupling and finish removing our ore setup that's here. And also the sieving system's probably going to go over in the mining on Mars area once we get that set up. My current intentions is next episode ore quintupling. The following episode will be mining and all that stuff. So we'll be spending the episode on Mars, I do believe. And we may actually set up the oxygen network as well, assuming that we have time for that during the Mars episode. So that's my plan anyways. Between this episode and next, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with the storage. We'll see. If it's something drastically new, if it's not just super storing a bunch of storage buses onto deep storage, then I'll wait and do it with you guys. But it kind of just depends on what I end up going with on that. But I'm going to try to clean up a lot of the rooms, because now that the whole conversion is over and we have cables ran for the most part to the majority of the key places within the base, I can start cleaning up a bit of the stuff, cleaning up all this mess and everything. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. I feel like this conversion took longer than I wanted it to, but we got a fair amount done. So, and it will make progression a bit easier moving forward. So, also, I know this episode's going to be coming out a day late. I want to tell you guys why that is, in case you're not on Discord. I know everyone on Discord, I've already made an announcement on there about it. But this week is going to be a bit crazy. So there might be, some stuff might be behind or missing. The reason being is because AE2 Classic. Okay, you guys may know that I did a short series messing around with that. I've been in the test group for that mod, and Spiger let me know that this weekend is actually planned release. And so I've been on the server with him. We've actually come across a few minor bugs he's been fixing and stuff, and I'm basically doing a big spotlight mini series and some build videos and stuff like that for AE2 Classic. So that's the reason this week is a bit crazy and everything's all over the place. That's why. So, and I know I've been like really scatterbrained this episode. I've been just working on that stuff and whatnot. So, but yeah, for those of you that are interested in IC2 Classic, excellent mod. So much work has went into that mod and so much time and everything. Definitely suggest it when it comes out. I know some people may be turned off by the fact that it's IC2, but it's totally different. It's basically IC2 on steroids. A lot of added features, a lot of really nice things. The jetpacks and stuff work so much better. You can actually switch those, like the modes and stuff, with just one key instead of the multiple key input and all that mess. It's just it's a whole lot better. There's so much added stuff in every aspect. You know, farming stuff's been added to farming. Stuff's been added to nuclear stuff, machines, upgrades, just all over the place. Just all kinds of things. So anyways, stay tuned for that. It's supposed to come out this weekend, so there'll be videos and stuff, a string of videos. There'll be a fair few videos coming out this weekend for that. So I'm working on videos. They're just not getting published right this second. So anyways, I hope to see you guys next time. Until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys then.